Right, this is Lockie's new bike. You might say, what was wrong with the last one? Well, it didn't start very well.
I didn't like the colour. I didn't like the colour.
Yeah, I think there's a bit more to it, wasn't it? The other one only had 24-inch wheels and mine had 26. It wasn't good enough for Lockie. And the old one, the battery was buggered. Yeah, only done how many miles?
130?
130 supposedly.
I think that's been round back.
Yeah, and so instead of getting a new battery and getting it sorted, Lockie just goes out and gets a new one with all the fancy bullshit on it. And it does sound alright, eh, Lockie?
Yep, hopefully it stays alright.
And it does start.
Yep. In the meantime, so far. That's why I'll bring a spare battery.
A man of confidence.
Yeah. So confident I'll bring a spare battery.
And I think it's going to rain, Lockie. It's not looking too good.
That's alright.
Okay, folks. Quite often the deer don't drop instantaneously, and you can see the blood on the ground here. And a few tips for following up deer when they're wounded is this one. It's got a hell of a blood trail. It's going way up there. This is pretty easy to follow, but in a lot of instances you'll find it's really hard. And one of the best tricks that you can do is to actually, wherever you find blood, is to drop a bit of toilet paper, and that allows you to easily backtrack when you lose the trail. And generally they will follow the same line until they don't. Well, that just about covers everything, of course, but generally you'll find that they'll be going like this, and then all of a sudden it'll be straight downhill. Yeah, if in doubt, follow the line. If you can't find a sign of where they're gone, then come back to where you lost the sight of the blood, and then most of the time look downhill. This one I don't think it's going to be too much of a trouble because there's so much blood, but occasionally you can lose it. And Locke and I had one where we had a massive blood trail, and then the dog was following, and all of a sudden the dog went off on actually a different tangent to where we thought the deer would have gone, and the dog was following another deer. We brought him back to the last place where we found some blood, and he then got onto the right trail and found the deer. But so see how easy it is. The white stands out like nobody's business, of course. And of course down here, okay, it's a blood trail a blind man can follow, but I'm just trying to illustrate to you exactly what you do. And a lot of times you'll find the blood trail's only like a couple of spots, and the toilet paper trick is yep, you can't beat it. See, the trail comes from here, and it's a pretty heavy trail, right? And you would expect, if you're watching the deer, if they're not badly run hurt, they'll just go straight across over here. But as soon as you can't find the blood in front of you, right, look down, and it's gone down the bank here. I think it's gone around the corner that way. As I say, they normally they'll just go for water. Sika are like that. They pretty much go straight for water all the time. Fallow, I have chased fallow deer uphill having wounded them, so they're pretty tough. But the deer changed its direction just up here, and it's come down through here, and now the blood trail is definitely not as good as what it was. You can just see it here. I can find it. Right there. So we're down to small bits of blood now, so it's either running out. I can see another bit just down here. Just there. So it's going out. It came across over here, down to here, and then it's come up here. And the fact that it's going uphill is not a good sign. You can see the blood just here. And, it's just here on the leaf. It's not a good sign when they go uphill. Right, yeah, this is I was too busy trying to get the deer to actually film what was going on. That deer was, although they've been shot, but it wasn't wounded that badly, and can still run on 3 legs, and on 3 legs they can outrun you. And it led me on a wild goose chase, about 300 yards up the hill, almost to the track, and I got up close to it up there, but the wind was up my ass, and you know, I was only like 15 yards from it, but the vegetation was so thick I couldn't see it. And it took off and ran around the side of the hill, principally because I think the hillside was too steep, it could not get up the last bit. So it ran about another 150 yards around the ridge, around the side of the hill, and I got the impression that it wanted to go down, but it got fouled up with all the vegetation. Even the deer sometimes struggle to get through some of that shit. And anyway, the second time it looked to go down, I actually lost the trail, and so I continued on a little bit and got into the side creek, and then came down the side creek, and as luck would have it, I picked up the trail again. Found one spot of blood. Pure luck. There's no other way to describe it. But this going round in circles thing is what they do. Seeker do it, Reds do it, and Locks wounded quite a few and chased them with the dog, and ended up right back where he started from. And this was the same with this thing. It got down into the creek, into the side creek, and while there's plenty of places where there's trails leaving the side creek, the deer won't do that, because the deer wants to stay near water. And so while there was some benign tracks that as in the gentle slope, the deer could have gone that way. It doesn't do that. It just goes straight down the creek, and it's a reasonably tight side creek, so I was able to sort of guess where it went, and I went down past where the first bit in the video where I said that it's gone uphill and this means trouble. Well, I went through there and on a bit, and just a bit further on from there I found one drop of blood, and it's about 30 yards from the main creek itself. And so when it got to the main creek, which way do you think it went? And this is another tip, years of experience. Upstream or downstream. The deer's not that badly wounded, so all wounds are bad, but he's pretty able. He's just taken me on a grand tiki tour on 3 legs, so it can go anywhere it wants.
The simple rule is that it will go downwind. And there's method in the madness. The deer wants to know if something's following it. So if it goes downwind, in this case the wind was going upstream, the deer went upstream. If something comes along and follows it, gets into the creek, the scent goes straight to the deer. So the deer knows that the bad guy is still on his tail. So the deer won't go far, 30 yards, maybe 50. And it won't actually be standing in the creek, but it'll be on the bank on either side. And so in this situation, the stream actually comes down like this. So it takes a bit of a bend going upstream that way, and the deer was over here. And I'm in the side creek, and the way you counter that, especially, it's a mistake that you can do if you've got a dog, because the dog will follow where the deer goes. The dog's not actually thinking a couple of steps ahead, which is what you need to do. So you just haul the dog off, just mark where the deer trail is with a bit of toilet paper, and don't go into the creek, because as we said, as soon as you do that, your scent goes straight up, and the deer knows you're still on the trail. In this situation, there's a bank here and the side creek, and I hopped up on the side creek, and the theory being is that the wind's going upstream this way, so my scent is going there, and the deer, which was over here. So in theory it doesn't get you scent, but there's a big difference between theory and practice. In the bottom of the gully, the wind is super fickle, and yeah, time is measured in moments, not minutes, because yeah, the wind was blowing this way, but then you'll get hit with a bit of wind which goes straight down into the creek, and then the next bit of wind will take your scent to the deer, so the deer gets an indirect whiff of you and knows that the bad guy's still there. So I had about 40 seconds. Not much time. You can only see about 50% of the creek, but I did clap eyes on him. I just saw his head and about that much of his back. So right species, right sex, and yeah, it was a juvenile animal. So it was everything fitted, but basically it got my wind the same time as I saw it, and one bound it was gone. And so I didn't have enough time to shoot it, and I didn't see enough of it to see whether it was another deer or the wounded one, but I'd be 90% certain that was the wounded one. Once they're in the bottom of the creek, there's so many tracks that the thing can use, and the wind's going the wrong way, you're on a hiding for nothing trying to find it. And so I might end up catching up with it some other time. I've shot plenty of three-legged deer before, and yeah, so it was pretty frustrating. So I just got a bit gun-ho. I smoked the first one, because you haven't seen that yet, but you're about to. I smoked the first one. It was trotting across the clearing, and broke both the front legs, smashed the heart, wasn't going anywhere, and then I got trigger happy and fired with this other one and went up the hill. Unfortunate. So, yeah, so back to the video.
Right, all done and dusted, and today's tip is when your bag's only 27 litres, take a supermarket bag so you can strap all the extra meat on the back, and yeah, the New World ones are better, not because they're red, just because they're stronger. They're stronger than the Pack and Save ones. And yeah, that's a whole hind, except for the bottom half and two front legs, and the rest of it is in the bag. So Even the pros have their bad days, and I missed the first two that I aimed at. I have no idea how I did it, or how I missed. 113 yards, almost side on, and complete miss. Then it ran towards me and I had a 100-yard shot, and complete miss. To be fair, that was through a bit of shrubbery. And then I hung around and waited a bit longer, and two more popped out, and they were on the run, about 140 yards, and I smoked this one, and unfortunately I wounded the second one. I thought I was going to find it. Right. Everybody else is on their dehydrated tucker. No, that shit toaster goes past our lips. We get the real stuff. Lockie's got fucking half of food down bar the trolley.
Yeah, I got done with the fucking bloody broccoli.
And he's complaining like mad.
Yep, of course. I paid bloody $2.50.
So, indoor-outdoor flow here. Executive thing. Even got a table, gas. And we've got stretchers for old men because they can't get down far enough. I think so. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We've been in bed all day. You think you might have caught up with all your sleep now, Lockie? Yep, and it's now 10 past 4, and of course it hasn't stopped raining. And yeah, it's even worse. Absolutely bucketing down. Yeah. Well, if you're going to have a bivvy, have big tarps and plenty of them. And you stay nice and dry. Oh, my. And it's now 6:30 and it's still raining. There's so much for 2.5 mils worth of rain. That was what the forecast said. And yeah, it doesn't look like it's going to stop either, Lockie. So, and this is what I mean about going into the bush and checking out the deer trails around the clearing. The clearing's off to the left here, but you can see going out here. See if I can get it in the right spot. You see, might not come out that well on the camera, but you can see the deer are trailing up straight up this way. Oops. And what you got to understand is that you need to go and walk inside the trees just near the clearing and check out for signs of a lot of activity. This was better 2 days ago because we'd had about 4 days with no rain, and then yesterday it bucketed down and sort of washed the trails out a bit, but you learn a lot from going into the forest in that first, nominal 40 yards. I mean, it can vary to just a few yards to 75. But the best advice I can give you is, instead of concentrating totally on the clearings and trying to find a deer on the clearing, you go and find the clearing with the shortest grass, with a few bits of deer shit on it, and then go into the forest and look for signs of activity like this. And in this particular spot here, it's a crossroads. It's like Royal Oak Roundabout for the deer, because deer are lazy. Over there the creek goes down in a canyon, and there's a flat on this side over here, and the deer, instead of going across down into the canyon and back up again on the other side, they will contour, because deer are lazy, and so the deer come this way, and where they go across is just over here, and the end result is that they are more likely to come out into the clearing just to my left here than they are further along. Right, so I'll take some more video on the way home to show you how low the grass is on the clearing to my left versus a clearing which is 200-300 yards down the gully here, where the grass is just that much longer. And if you're going to go and sit and snipe rather than spook and shoot, you want to have some degree of confidence of that the deer are going to be coming out. Well, one is the shortest grass with a bit of shit on it, and the other is to go into the bush and check out, find activity. In this bush here, there is just bucket loads of sign. But this is November. If you were to come back in February, you'd barely see any footprints at all. And you'd see no shit on the clearing, the grass would still be short. So if you go down on the theory of having sitting opposite the grass with the shortest, clearing with the shortest grass, you're going to be unlucky. But this is November, and the deer are down low in the creek, and eating the grass out in the clearing, and also eating the grass here. There's oodles of food for them, and so this is why I'm hanging around here. I don't know how well it comes out on the camera, but talking about the fact that the deer, the clearing's up there, and when you see the sign like here and here, over here, hasn't really come out, but there's a trail coming down through here where the deer walk, and heaps of sign all the way along this creek, and basically the deer use the bush around the clearing as a highway, and they'll go out and feed on the clearing, but what I'm trying to get you to do is that don't just look at the clearing, go and look at the bush. And if you see heaps of activity like this, then you know that the deer are going to be using the place. You see, here's their access way. They come down through here. You can see all the ruffled stuff. And here's more hoof marks, and there's a track going along on the other side. Doesn't really show up that well, but there's a deer trail running along on that side of the creek. And so I've just shot a deer on the clearing just over here, and I know that they were going to come out because there's just so much activity in the bush adjacent to the clearing, and that's how you choose the clearing to look at. One that's got no grass on it, one that's got a bit of shit on it, and one that's got a heap of activity around the outside. Okay, little spiker, or picket, sorry, shot in the neck from 150 yards. So explain to me how I missed the hind at 113 yards, and then had a second shot at it at 100 yards and still missed it. Almost exactly the same spot. So I don't know how that works, but I hit exactly where I was aiming. So all I can conclude is my own absolute stupidity the first time round. You get that. Okay, folks. This is a crude block and tackle. It's nothing sophisticated, but it allows you to get it up off the ground. And when you're an old fart, you can't be bothered bloody bending over all the time. And so this is how I do it. Put it up on in the air so I can do it. Okay, round 2. Bag's still not big enough, even for a fallow picket. And I've got everything except for the neck, because that was a bit rooted. And I've even got the ribs.